from a young age, I was always the first Sikh anywhere I've been. My primary school was the first Sikh. It was quite odd for people to see this Sikh boy, this Asian boy with hair on his, a big ball of hair on his head, and to them it was quite often a reason to bully me. But I never let that faze me, because strangely, when I left secondary school, I was voted most popular boy. So then going into the police is not something I had planned in my life. I wanted to go to university, but I was just such a joker in college. I didn't study as well as I should have studied. I was concentrating more on what I was doing in the common room and playing computer games, and I just didn't take it as seriously as I probably should have, and I didn't go on to go to university. Instead, I left, and I got a job. My first job was at Marks and Spencer's, measuring gentlemen's inside legs in the men's department. So that was my first job. I then went on to working for a couple of call centres, and it was I was at this point now where I just thought, wow, is this it now for me? Is this all I can do? I need more in my life. I wanted more so badly. And I remember one day my father coming home from the Gurdwara Sikh temple and saying to me that the police service had been there doing a recruitment event, and my dad said, it's something you should look into doing, and I did. And again, if my dad hadn't gone to the temple that day, if he hadn't gone to the Gurdwara that day, I wouldn't have known about this. It might not have even been something I considered. So I did. I looked into it and I applied, and I went through all my interviews and everything like that, and I was successful, and I was the first Sikh police officer, along with my cousin, to join Cambridgeshire Police. And it was a very proud moment for me and my family. It's something that I thought, okay, my life is now going to get interesting, and boy, I was not wrong. Then when I eventually got out onto the streets and I was now patrolling the streets, I was different. People hadn't seen a turban wearing Sikh police officer before. And, I was spat at, I was racially abused. I had incidents where I'd go to people's houses and they wouldn't let me in the front door. They wanted to see a white police officer. All of these things, it kind of really knocked the wind out of me, because I expected it to be a lot different. And I did everything I could to kind of overcome that. And I remember one day being told about a story about a female Sikh police officer who joined the Metropolitan Police, and she died. She was murdered by her husband for being a police officer, in essence. So it's something that affected me, but also helped to push me on even more. And I was involved in a police incident where I crashed a police car. I was taken to court by my own force. I lost my driving licence for 15 months, and then I was told, maybe you should consider resigning now. But I didn't. Instead, I asked for a bicycle, and I went out on the streets on my bike and patrolled on my bike, and I managed to maintain my arrest record. I just seem to have quite a few kind of low ballers thrown at me, but I'm really proud that my career developed into what it did, where I worked on intelligence and tactical and strategic policing, where I was allowed to get involved in more kind of the undercover work and proactive work, and we were working on investigations against drug dealers, child sexual exploitation rings, human traffickers, paedophiles, and I kind of spent my last 3 years in the service doing that. And I think one of the most defining moments of me, where I genuinely became the person I am today, was on September the 7th, 2009. I attended an incident where I thought I was going to a train that had hit a cow, but that wasn't the case. A train had hit a 2-year-old boy, and it was something that really affected me quite emotionally and mentally and physically. I for a long time I wasn't the same after that. And being able to be there for that family afterwards, actually churning that pain into something positive. I now go and see that family every year. I've helped them to overcome the trauma as well. I've been there and supported them, and they've been supported me as well, because it's something I just wasn't conditioned for. I couldn't really deal with that. So everything I've been through up until now, I left the police after winning multiple commendation awards. I went over to Northern Ireland. I served my community proudly, and I left on a high, in my opinion. And now, I left in order to start my own business. Now I've got a private investigation company, which is a triple award-winning company. We're franchising around the UK, around Europe, and now the world. But where my passion lies, my passion has always been helping other people, and that's what I want to continue to do. I invest as much as I can in people. I remember people saying to me, "You're not a businessman," but what they didn't know was when I was in the police force and I was having my lunch breaks, I'd be the police officer sat above the motorways, and all the cars screeching to the speed limit because they think I've got a speed gun, but I hadn't. I was reading books about business, how to start a business. I was listening to some of the greatest motivational speakers I've ever heard. Les Brown, I'm part of the Les Brown Maximum Achievement team. His institution, he's been a great inspiration to me. Also Jim Rohn, amazing speaker. And all of these factors helped me to become a successful businessman, and I now want to help other people realise their dreams, realise their goals, because it can happen. I weighed 3.5 stone more than what I do right now last year. I lost that weight, and this year I was fortunate enough to go and climb Mount Everest, to the base camp, 17,500 feet, and I did that for Barnardo's to help children who are victims of child sexual exploitation. Something that I'm very passionate about combating, and I speak to a lot of communities about. I'm privileged now and I never ever thought I'd see the day where I can stand on stages all over the world. I'm speaking in Florida, all over the UK and Europe, about things that I'm passionate about helping people to achieve their dreams, their motivation, and achieve their goals, because we get one life, and we really have to live it, because my goal in life is to die empty. I don't want to live a life and then leaving everything to the last minute. I want to die empty. I want to have achieved all my dreams and all my goals and all my ambitions before I die, just with my family around me, because I love my family, I love my religion, I love the people that I meet every single day and the communities that I can help.